it's just almost like it's like a magical thing. You get the right producer, the right song, the right singers. It's like the planets lining up or something. And that's when you get the great material.
Are you here? Splendid! Welcome to the Paul Leslie Hour, that whimsical whirlwind of chats where melodies mingle with memories and every episode feels like a cozy fireside tale spun from the starry sky. This, if you didn't know, is episode number 1099. But hey, who's counting? And we are diving into the soul-stirring duet of the timeless classic, Hurts So Bad, reimagined for its 60th anniversary by our guests, the legendary Little Anthony and the captivating songstress, Brooke Moriber. Written by Teddy Rendazzo, Bobby Weinstein, and Bobby Hart, Hurt So Bad is truly a classic. So, here's Brooke, here's Anthony, and oh yeah, here's Paul.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Paul Leslie Hour, where we say, isn't technology wonderful sometimes? It is a great pleasure to be joined by two singers. I'm looking at them right now. They're two very talented, very attractive people. Brooke Moriber and Anthony Gourdine, known to the world as Little Anthony. And Anthony, this is my second time speaking with you.
Yeah.
The last time we did it old school. We were on the phone. But
Remember?
now...
Yeah, that's why I remember that.
Well, there is nothing in this world, in my opinion, better than when there are two voices coming together and something classic becomes new. And that is exactly what I thought when I heard your incredible duet of Hurt So Bad, a classic song. It feels new. First of all, congratulations on the song.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good stuff, good stuff.
Absolutely. So I want to start with you, Brooke, not just because ladies first, but do you remember the first time you heard this song?
You know, David Ross from Revival Records is who put Anthony and I together for this. And he thought of us doing Hurt So Bad as a duet because Linda Ronstadt had done it back in the 80s as a cover. And I sing lots of Linda Ronstadt songs in my repertoire because she is my vocal idol. But the crazy thing is, I had actually never heard her sing this song. So the first time I actually heard the song was when David pitched the idea to me, and I looked up Linda Ronstadt, and I couldn't believe I hadn't actually heard that song of hers before. And then it's an amazing difference between the original Little Anthony original of it, which is so brilliant, and then such a different take on it by Linda. So it made me think, wow, well, let's do something third generation of this and even more different. And I couldn't be more proud of what we did with it.
And yes, the first version, Little Anthony and the Imperials. Anthony, can you tell us what is it about this song that you think has given it this incredible life where singers want to keep going back to it?
I don't know. First of all, it's good stuff, which I tell Brooke, it's good work. That's what it was. It was at a time when singing groups at that time, outside of the Drifters, who were working with Stan what's his last name? I can't remember. He was a great producer at that time. Stan Applebaum. He was a great producer, and he was using violins and the whole orchestra. Just all the pieces. I mean, it was huge. It's like big. So they're the only ones who was doing that. But when I got to work with the great Don Costa, he wrote the book, him and Nelson Riddle. Hearing how he wanted to do it was quite exciting. And when we got in the studio, I mean, in those days, you had everybody in the studio at the same time. There's like 46, 47 pieces of instruments. They had oboes, they had violins, cellos, violas. Everybody was in that house, and some of the best musicians in the world. And so right there, even in my little younger mind, I was saying to myself, if I could just do this thing with really all I got, maybe it could be something, you know? And it didn't take long before we start listening to it all together as they began to do take after take. I don't remember. I think I may have done about maybe 6 or 7 takes. And finally they got it together, and Don loved it. He gave the thumbs up, and that was it. And we didn't think much about it. Now, remember, we just came off of Going Out of My Head, which was a huge hit. So we had some momentum. I think that has something to do with it too. So to be able to come back with that, with Bobby Weinstein and Teddy Randazzo's lyrics and music, and give it, it's the same big sound, but the song was so entirely different from Going Out of My Head. And it was in particular, I had developed this reputation for going back when I was a kid. They used to tell me I cry songs or I act them out. Yeah. And so in my mind, I'm saying, well, this is really good stuff. And but next thing you know, those are the old days, you know, there was a disc jockey that just started somewhere, blew up, and all of a sudden, we're in the top 20, we're in the top 10, and we're on our way. So it's anything that's really, really good. I have learned in my years in this business, never count that somehow certain people have to approve of it, or this one has to like it, or in order to have the stamp of approval. No, the people you want is the public. They like it.
Right.
That's it. There's some great movies were made were canned by critics, but yet they were great movies. Yeah. So music is that way. It still hasn't changed. So I like I told Brooke many times, I won so many awards. I won just a bunch of stuff. You know, this one and that one and this one. And you start idol worshiping. I mean, you start looking at and I know some performers will do it. They begin to take those awards, and that tells them who they are. Or somehow they make this affirms their character, affirm who they are, which it doesn't. It's just your peers saying you're good.
Right.
And that part I love. I love that my peers said, you're good enough to get this award. But the award itself, we can get caught up in that. We start shooting for that, and it doesn't work. You know, you listen to Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett never changed the thing he did. Not once. It was Lady Gaga who went with Tony Bennett and did the thing that Tony Bennett was always doing.
Right.
And then audience heard that. And they said, this is good. And one of the things that is so, everything on that is when you can walk out that studio, you feel good about what you did. Or maybe you walk out the studio saying, I could have done that better. Or I could have just get that note. That's all.
Yeah. Well, how did you all feel? How did you all feel when you listened to that the final cut? This is what we put down today. Here it is.
I'm going to go back a little further than that final day. The day that we first got together with the band and recorded the track, I just had goosebumps all over. And Fred Mullen, our producer, we chose him for this because we wanted to do something epic, and that is his thing. And the song starts off very, minimalistic and builds and builds and builds. And the crescendo that we get to at the end is just an incredible payoff. And to hear it live with the band and sing it live with the band, that's the peak of the thrill of recording the song.
I concur.
Yep.
Well, Anthony mentioned the late, great Bobby Weinstein, who was a guest on this show years and years ago. And Brooke, I know that you write songs, but I want to ask both of you, what do songwriters mean to you? The men and women who put pen and paper or put the music to the words and make songs happen.
Well, I'll start, and Brooke, you can take it. For me, I'm very blessed, man. I've been around some of the best in the business. I think as an artist, you really grow with that. I don't know, because Brooke writes her own music. That's kind of different. Well, I don't call myself a writer. I'm just a singer that happens to write sometimes, you know? Like I'm working on a song right now that came to my mind. Something happened to me. It's every 10 years. It'll pop up in my head. And I started working with this young fella. We started working on it. I was so surprised at where it was going. Lyric and the artists, the writers. Okay, what I've learned is the one thing you want to do when you get the great writers or the ones that are proving themselves over and over is you want to paint a picture through your voice of what that writer's saying.
Mhm.
And it is not just the words and syllables and all that. It's what is that person, that lady or that guy trying to say. So it's very, very important for me to get with a guy like Bobby Weinstein and Teddy Randazzo and really talk about that. And this is what Don Costa told me. He said that separates you as a singer from just being, like all the run-of-the-mill kind of cats coming out of, doo-wop, whatever you call it. It'll separate you if you understand that little business. So it's really, when it comes down to it, the king is the song. We are just the instrument that interprets it. We get the sketch, and then we are the painters that put all the colors in it. It's the same with acting. Same thing. I remember directors telling me, really, they don't really know what they're looking for. You have to show them what they're looking for. So you have to develop something in that character or something where to go, what? Or that's what I wanted. Well, the same thing with people who write songs. I know it's different with Brooke because she writes her own songs. So she's married to that relationship with herself. And I've always said people write their own songs, really write sometimes some of the best stuff in the world, obviously. But also guys like me and Johnny Mathis and all the rest of them, we tend to wait for somebody to write it for us. It's the song. The song is king.
It is. Yeah. I mean, Paul and I actually were talking before you got on the video that, sometimes I get pitched songs as well. And sometimes I pitch my songs to other artists. And the thing that always clicks, because like you said, and what we both kind of have in common is the interpretation of the song. It's an acting experience and a vocal experience. So if the writer is not being as truthful and open as they can, it's not going to connect as much. Where, songwriters who write about the human experience, and the more vulnerable and odd you think that lyric is, it's usually the right one where it's like, I don't know if I should say this, but I'm going to go there.
Yeah.
So, songwriters they're the beginning of the truth telling. You know what I mean? They're truth tellers. And it's a collaborative effort with the writer and then the singer and the band and all of it. So for me, songwriting is very therapeutic. It's been that way for a long time. I started writing music when I was a teenager. I lost my eyesight for 4 years from a rare eye disease and wasn't supposed to get it back. But I started writing music just because I needed a friend to talk to, somebody who understood what I was going through. And, it was the most isolating time in my life. And I truly believe that music healed me, and songwriting has been such a part of my soul since then because it's my medicine. And singing always was my thing. I've been singing since, Anthony, you have probably the same experience.
Yep.
Before you can remember, you were probably a very loud child just singing since the age of 0.1. Exactly. So singing was always there, but the songwriting wasn't until, the worst and the best thing that ever happened to me happened.
Yeah. You could make examples of a lot of the different songs that are written, especially the Beatles. When I first started hearing the Beatles, I said, oh, for goodness sakes, what's that? We call that ice cream music. It's like, that ain't hit it, man. That's not it. But as they grew, they really actually grew as writers. They started to take their own careers in their own hand and start saying, well, we're going to do the whatever. And what came out? Oh, my goodness. George Harrison, Paul McCartney, John. It was amazing. And I think that's the same with just about anybody. Really, they grow as songwriters as they go along. I know for a fact arrangers grow as they go along.
Mm-hmm.
Arrangers. And our business
Definitely.
collaboration with so many people. And the trick is, how do you get, it's just almost like, it's like a magical thing. You get the right producer, the right song, the right singers, like the planets lining up or something. And that's when you get the great material. It'll come out, in that respect. Now, we don't know that until we actually sing it or get together in the studio and start singing it. Because I think Brooke would know this. Most times I can sing something, and even if it's a new song, and it's cool. It isn't until I get in the studio that I start hearing it back at me. And I go, whoa.
Yeah.
Did I do that? That kind of thing, So, yeah, my mother tried to get me into music and art in New York. My dad didn't want no part of it. He didn't know. I don't know, because he was a musician and he went through, that was a tough life, living in the big band era. And he just didn't want that I'm the last kid, and my other brothers are very talented. But for me, when they found I was singing at a very young age, the whole family became a unit behind me because they were all singers. My aunts were singers. My mother was a singer. They tell me my great-great-grandfather was a great singer. So that was all, I was just there. And so I really, really believe, again, it's just a whole bevy of things in your life that kind of brings out whatever it is. I hear things in Brooke's voice. I say, wait a minute. That's different. That her approach is coming from somewhere else. And the way she can transition, I wish I could do that.
Are you kidding? You do that as a male singing in my range.
I mean, what is it? You switch so quickly and so clear, like it's not. I do it and there'll be trouble. Or sometimes I'll just grab it in the middle of somewhere and it happens, but I can't repeat it a lot of times. It's crazy. I have no real basis of anything. The singer, it's just there. I know it's a gift from God as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
And it's just that when I get at a certain point, guess for all these years, I kind of know when I nailed it and when I didn't nail it.
Well, you all definitely nailed it.
I think we both knew that we nailed this one.
Yeah, we knew.
Yeah.
We knew.
You all nailed it. You said that you write sometimes, so let's just hope that you two will collaborate and record again, because I will tell you, this recording, it sounds like award-winning in my headphones. So congratulations to Little Anthony Gourdine, Brooke Moriber, Fred Mullen, all the engineers, all the musicians who made this incredible, incredible rendition of a classic. And thank you all so much for joining us on the Paul Leslie Hour. It has been a pleasure. You've brought a great big smile to my face. First when I heard the song, and now to reconnect with you and to meet you, Brooke. Thank you both.
Thank you.
All right. Well, folks, I hope that this isn't our last visit. I hope we can connect and talk again.
Well, I've learned how to work this thing again. There's a little thing over here that I never paid attention to. But I noticed it was off. Like, like when like on your phone, where you got to hit that little round circle and then the blue light comes on or whatever it's on.
Right.
That's right here. And there was no sign to say it was the sound and nothing. And I just saw it was off. In the last minute, when all was lost, I just clicked it. There you are.
As Shakespeare said, all is well that ends well.
That's it.
Yes, exactly.
It. All right. Well, you all have a wonderful evening. I've got to run. God bless you all. And I hope to see you all singing live and in person.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
See you guys later. See you later, Brooke.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We thank you and appreciate you dropping in for the Paul Leslie Hour today. You can help the Paul Leslie Hour in our mission to provide independent media content like this by visiting www.paullesliehour.com. thepaulleslie.com/support. We truly thank you. This is your announcer speaking. Performance of The Entertainer intro song and Corina outro song, courtesy of John Primorano. Well, that's it for today. So until next time, be safe and be good.